Hey everybody, Mike Turnquist here with 7th Upper Real Estate. I'm sitting down again here with Matt Loker, and we're going to talk a little bit about credit issues and some possible ways to kind of fix them. Thanks for coming on again, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Right on. So tell us a little bit about, what the credit bureaus are and kind of your role in that and how it affects, our clients.
Absolutely. So most people know about the big three credit bureaus. That'd be Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. A lot of people don't know that there are hundreds of specialty bureaus that'll track everything from utility payments, your rent payments, any sort of information if you pass a bad check. But what the credit bureaus do is, regardless of what type they are, is they gather information about consumers and put it on display for credit guarantors to evaluate the consumer based upon past conduct to see if the new credit guarantor, whether it's a credit card, mortgage lender, those sorts of things, think that it's a good investment by them to lend money to that consumer. And they're receiving 1.5 billion pieces of information on consumers every single month per bureau for the big three. So they really operate by gathering information and displaying it for everyone to see.
Wow, okay. So what types of inaccurate information do you often see?
Yeah, the most common types are the wrong charge-off dates or the wrong date of breach or the wrong amount. So with regard to the charge-off dates or the date of breach, the reporting party, whether it's a creditor or a debt collector, can only remain on the consumer's credit for 7.5 years from the date that they first missed their payment. So what we'll see very often is instead of the date of last payment being more than 7.5 years ago, so by law they'd be required to remove the mark, they'll say the date of last payment was only a couple years ago. So that tricks the credit bureau to allow the debt collector to remain on the credit. And then when a consumer sees it, they'll call and just ask for a small fraction of it to require deletion. And that's when the consumer gets what they want. And in addition to that, they'll inflate the amounts owed. Instead of owing a couple $100s, they'll say the consumer owes a couple thousand. And again, it's a collection attempt, so they'll settle for a smaller amount, not telling the consumer that what they're doing is potentially illegal.
Oh, wow. So what can a consumer do to correct those inaccurate reportings?
Right. There's a couple of things. So pre-litigation, what the statute requires, and the statute is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That statute requires that the consumer give the credit bureau and the reporting party one opportunity to review both sides of the story and then delete the inaccurate information. So the way that's done is the consumer reviews their credit, puts together a short letter. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just says this market is inaccurate because of X, Y, and Z. Then they send that to the credit bureau. Their credit bureau forwards it to the reporting party, and then it's a back and forth to see what's accurate. Unfortunately, that process doesn't always work out. Sometimes the reporting party will verify inaccurate information. If that happens, that's when I get involved. What I can do from there is file a lawsuit against the credit bureau for not having sufficient policies and procedures to avoid reporting inaccurate information. And I'd also include the reporting party because they falsely verified the same inaccurate information.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So how can litigation benefit that consumer?
Absolutely. So what we see a lot of times in the mortgage process is they'll pull their credit and see a mark that shouldn't be on there and go through the dispute. And what's nice about when I get involved is the fact that we're using strictly consumer protection statutes. So what that means is the consumer is going to receive both statutory and actual damages. Statutory damages are damages that are permitted by the statute. That can range anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 on a basic case. But the consumer can also receive actual damages, compensation for emotional distress, compensation for obtaining a worse interest rate than they would have qualified for if they had only accurate information on their credit. So most of the time, what we'll see is the consumers use the funds they receive to put towards their down payment, pay closing costs, pay off other valid debts, because we can only sue on inaccurate or invalid debts.
So if the stuff on their credit report is legit,
exactly,
you got to kind of live with that.
Exactly.
Okay.
If it's legit, it's on there. You can pay it off and you can negotiate with people, and what's nice about these cases is I don't charge. My fees and costs are paid for by the defendants. So all we're doing is getting an accurate report for the consumer and putting money in their pocket without any expenditure.
Oh, wow. That's pretty fabulous.
Yeah, it really is.
Right on. Cool. So if you guys have any questions about credit repair or whatnot, definitely give Matt a call. We'll put the number here below, and look forward to helping you guys anytime soon.
There you go.
Anything you have left to say?
No, that's all. Thanks,
Okay,
Mike.
cool.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.